Hello, and welcome to CatavanCast, Van Life with a Cat. It's the show where we discuss our experiences of travelling through the many countries of Europe in a camper van. I'm Ben.
I'm Frey, and Dargo is slightly sleepy. She's awake, she's flipstered.
Of course.
But the eyes are slowly closing.
Yes, struggling to stay awake. You may notice a slight difference in audio quality yet again. There's something we're going to have to work on here. We are no longer in the Airbnb in Athens. To cut a long story short, we are in a house we are now renting for the next, until the end of the year.
Yes.
For the next 5-6 months.
5-6 months.
In Porto Rafti.
Yes.
So still in Greece. The ceilings here are much higher than they are in the van. And
again, there are no soft furnishings.
Yes.
So
we may just have to start recording back in the van.
Yeah, I think so.
It's incredibly warm in there. That's the issue. So there may be a lot more moisture noises. Anyway, today we're talking about our slightly too brief visit to Estonia.
Yes.
So we left Russia, which is the whole big thing, the two major border crossings.
Yep.
Which we covered last week. So if you want to hear how we got from Russia into Estonia, that's on that podcast. And yeah, Estonia, one of those countries I sort of knew existed, but knew nothing about.
Yeah, I mean Estonia is just another Eastern European country.
Yeah, it was part of the Baltics, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, one of those ex-Soviet countries. And
unfortunately, that's about all that the vast majority of people know about it.
Yeah. I do have some interesting trivia on it, but we'll get to that a bit later.
Yes. Do your legal stuff first.
Yes, of course, the legal stuff. So if you're planning on driving to Estonia, it's worth noting that foreign drivers must be at least 18 years old, which seems to be a recurring thing. I think that's only been pointed out specifically for the Scandinavian countries so far.
I think so.
Or the more northern European countries.
Maybe even Germany.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Then again, as I said before, this information is all taken from the RAC guidance sites, and each one is written by a completely different person in a different format. So maybe other people just omitted that information. Anyway, you must have, as expected, your driver's license, your green card for proof of insurance, your passport, and your vehicle registration documents. A bit of an interesting one here. Again, we always recommend anyone going to Europe driving, you buy one of the European driving kits. Mm-hmm. They're about £20 from Amazon or wherever, and they have warning triangles, high-vis vests, breathalyzers, whatever. The only things all vehicles must have in Estonia is a fire extinguisher and a warning triangle. Oddly though, I sort of only bring this up because it's a bit of an oddity, first aid kits are only compulsory if you're driving a company car.
Interesting.
So if you're driving there for work and you've been given a vehicle from your work, you must have a first aid kit. But that's the only time you are legally required to have one with you. It's a bit weird, but
yeah.
There you go. Estonia, headlights must be used all day, every day, much like the other Scandinavian countries. I say other Scandinavian countries. Take an aside here, we did agree that Estonia kind of feels Scandinavian, doesn't it?
Yes.
But it's not. We'll come back to that a bit later on. Something we did not know, but we did have, so it doesn't matter. It is compulsory to carry 2 wheel chocks, whether that's wood or plastic, to stop your car moving when you've parked it.
Interesting.
It does not say you have to use them whenever you park, or no information on when you should use them, other than obviously on a hill, I suppose.
I was just thinking that, but Estonia's not very hilly from what
it's almost famously flat.
Yeah.
Maybe it's when you park in all the meteorite craters that they have.
Maybe. Yes.
Yeah, no, I didn't think that. Yeah, you're right, it's a very flat country.
It's a very flat country, so I don't...
but for some reason, again, this might be the RAC
maybe they
getting
had
mixed up.
A few incidents.
Maybe, yeah, on slight inclines. Helmets are compulsory for motorcycle and moped riders, as well as drivers, obviously. Winter tyres must be fitted onto your vehicle between the 1st of December and the 1st of March. However, they may also be required any time from October to April, depending on the current conditions, the advice is to just sort of check and see what they're saying.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just be sensible.
Just be sensible. Standard European speed limits, built-up areas 50 kilometres an hour, the open roads are 90 kilometres an hour, and dual carriageways, because they have no motorways in Estonia, are 110 kilometres an hour. The police can stop you and fine and force you to pay on the spot. Petrol and LPG stations are widespread and readily available. So if you have LPG cookers or anything, no need to worry there. And something is a big positive for the country, we were so relieved to see it. There are no emissions or congestion charge zones.
Yeah.
There are also no toll roads.
Yeah.
Which is a huge relief in Europe. And a huge relief for us because it means you don't have to worry so much about having to download more public transportation apps to get tickets or whatever.
But just be wary of where you're driving and trying to keep an eye out for these signs that could, they change country to country, and you don't know whether you're just going to all of a sudden end up in a zone that you're not supposed to be in and be like, oh my god.
Exactly, there's no worry. We'll also point out that Estonia does use the euro.
Yes.
I think all the Baltics use the euro.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, maybe. Well, Estonia does.
I
can guarantee it. Estonia does. So, our little trip. Yes, obviously we came in from Russia, we crossed the border with the Estonian side of the town is called Narva, which I looked up. And that crossing took up a big chunk of our day.
Yes, as we expected it to.
Yes, we woke up early, we got everything ready on the Russian side of the border.
Yeah.
And then it was maybe no more than 2 hours,
No,
I'd say,
I don't think so.
actually crossing the border, but we had to queue. There was a bit of a queue to get there. And the several checks leading up to the border, just the passport checks as you approach the border. So we threw it into Estonia, and our ultimate destination was Tallinn, the capital, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where you're just coming along the north coast. Because obviously it's a coastal country.
Yeah.
Do they have a significant amount of islands? Weirdly, this isn't in the trivia I've got for later.
I think Estonia has 2,000 islands.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yes, so coastal being a word there, yes.
Yes.
But we knew we wouldn't be able to go to Tallinn and explore it or whatever that day, so we were stopping on the way. I'm going to murder this pronunciation because it might be Scandinavian.
Oh, I see, yes.
It could be Estonian. Jägala waterfall?
I think it's more like Jägala.
Jägala?
Yeah.
Maybe. It has an umlaut, or maybe two in there, I'm not sure. So. But the Jägala waterfalls, which we managed to get to just before night time. It was also on this trip where we realised that we were an hour behind in Russia. So we moved our clocks back when we came into Estonia, I think. So I can't even remember now, but we were on the wrong time. I think we were an hour ahead of the actual time.
No, we were an hour behind because the clocks changed whilst we came to Finland. So we were okay in Finland.
Yes.
But we should have changed our clocks as we went to Russia, but we didn't.
No.
So when we came back to Estonia, we were then on the right time.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. So
but it was there that we realised our blunder in Russia.
By the time we left Russia, we realised... Well, not even by the time we left Russia, we realised we were on the wrong time.
Yes.
So we got to Jägala waterfall. The van, I remember, was in dire need of a wash.
It was. Because there was snow in Russia on the roads and stuff, and they'd been gritted. And that just, on a white van.
Yes, the van was almost black, it was so filthy. Luckily we had enough water and stuff to give it just a bit of a rinse down. It was a bit of a rinse down, we still managed to get soapy cleaning on it. Yeah. And that's when we did have to watch Dargo at this point because there were some local cats. Yeah,
that we didn't realise.
No, we only saw one of them jumped in the van, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean,
and then there was...
Ran away as soon as they were noticed.
Yes.
But
Dargo was not impressed.
Very curious. Dargo was a bit like, no, this is my house. Stay away. And obviously we were at the Jägala waterfall and there were maps around showing you, it's just around here. But we couldn't, we were at the car park for the Jägala waterfall.
Yeah.
And we thought, there must be a bit of a walking trail because it was
the
widest...
Yes, in Northern Europe.
The widest waterfall in Northern Europe.
Yes.
So we thought we must be able to hear it. And so we waited until the morning Turns out we were only about 20 metres away from it.
If that.
But there was, like, we have the video of it on our YouTube channel. Just search for Catavan Estonia, I suppose, on
should come
YouTube.
Up with that.
It should
I think
pop
so,
up with
yeah.
it. It's there, the video when we go to Tallinn as well, and you can hear, because we were parked at the top of the waterfall, because it's not a very tall waterfall.
No, it's just quite wide.
Very wide.
Yeah.
And literally, as soon as you pass the tipping point of the waterfall, it suddenly becomes quite deafening.
Yeah.
And you can just take a couple of steps, and then it's almost like serene. You could hear the water trickling more than you could the impact.
Yes. Which is crazy when you think about it.
It was, yeah, I'm sure it's very basic physics, but it was something else to actually see. We thought we had a bit of a trek first thing in the morning, and it was, no, we could have thrown a stick over the edge of it from the van.
Yes.
And we did get it to ourselves for a very little bit, but then a couple of minibuses full of
tourists.
I was about to say full of tourists. Yeah, but we are the tourists.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Full of other tourists.
Other tourists.
Yeah, but we managed to get some photos and such completely by ourselves, which is nice. It's always nice to get in a place quiet and to yourself even for a little bit. So then we headed to Tallinn. Of course, this is the first time you've driven in over a week.
Yes, because I didn't drive at all in Russia, did I?
Because it was too. We wanted to pay extra to get you on the insurance for Russia.
Yeah.
So we drove into Tallinn, again not having to worry about congestion charges or anything like that.
Yeah.
And luckily, down by the port, there's plenty of free parking.
There is, yes.
And lots of motorhomes, camper vans, even caravans, because people sit there before they catch the ferry to Finland the next day. Or St. Petersburg, wherever. So we parked up there, and that was about a 15-minute walk from the old town.
Yep, it was. One thing I will say about driving to Tallinn is that the roads are a little bit confusing.
Did have a bit of trouble, didn't you?
Yeah, because they've got it's a normal town road with 3 lanes, but the middle lane is interchangeable as to which direction it goes in, and there are lights above.
Oh yes, I see what you mean. So you have like a 5. No, sorry, yeah, it's 3 lanes. So it's a single carriageway each way, but the middle one. I'm just trying to paint the picture.
Yeah.
So a road is 3 lanes.
Yeah.
The right-hand lane is the one you sit in.
Yeah.
Other traffic is coming the opposite way in the left-hand lane.
Yeah.
I remember this now.
Yeah.
But the middle lane depends.
Yeah, depends on the sign above.
Yes.
As to which direction can have that lane.
The electronic sign above.
Yeah.
So it's not a set thing on that road.
No.
It's one day it could be open for you. One day not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's to do with rush hour traffic. So in the morning there'll be more people coming in, so they have 2 lanes going in, one coming out. And in the evening it's the other way around. But that was also when we got stuck in traffic coming out.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. We'll go back to Tallinn. But so that was
just something to watch out for, which we had with that RSE thing, had no warning about it.
Nope.
We heard nothing about it. Yes, Tallinn, at least Tallinn. I don't think we saw that anywhere else.
I don't think that was anywhere else.
But at least Tallinn in Estonia has lanes which change direction.
Yes, so just be careful.
Just be aware. Tallinn is obviously it's the capital of Estonia, and it's kind of split into 2 cities, like most modern European cities, I suppose. You've got the modern town. Oh, the dog actually moving, my God.
Yeah. See, listeners, she is real.
They don't know that. They've just heard me comment on it.
They could probably hear her eating now.
Yes. So yes, Tallinn split. You've got the modern city.
Yes.
And the old city.
Yeah.
They'll have some interesting trivia about the old town when we come to that. Luckily, from the docks, it's about a 15-minute walk to the old town.
Yeah.
The old town is very frequently mapped. Lots of big maps everywhere. There's a free tourist information thing in the centre of it, which we stopped at. Got some self-guided walking tours.
Yes.
And it's just a well-preserved, I suppose, medieval. Town.
It's amazing.
Yes, you got the tight, narrow, cobbled streets.
Yeah.
The one thing that sticks out for me is a lot of especially down some of the side streets, all the shops, you actually have to step down from the street.
Yes.
Some very steep steps. I don't know how old people manage, but it's very steep steps down, and then you're in the shop.
In the actual shop, yeah.
But being in the Baltics, this is where we really started seeing amber shops.
Yeah, we'd seen a few in Russia.
Yes.
But thought that's just a Russian thing, you know? Maybe that's what it is. It's Russia.
Yeah.
But no, Tallinn has a lot of amber shops. A lot of Baltic amber shops.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. A few of the highlights we saw, remember St. Catherine's Passage.
Yes.
Which is an unfortunate name.
Is it though?
It is a little bit. There was an old church on there, and the exterior walls, they had mounted some millennia-old tombstones.
Yeah.
Which were not all intact, but they had all the pieces as put back together as they could.
Mm-hmm.
Quite intricately designed on them as well.
Yes.
Carvings and such.
Yeah.
And they did have information on them. It was so long ago though, I honestly can't remember.
I think because I touched one.
Oh.
There wasn't anything that said that I couldn't.
Yes, well, there's nothing saying you shouldn't drop a toaster in the bath, but there you are.
What?
There probably is something.
I think there is something. But I think that one was 1,800 years old or 1,300 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah, and not the oldest thing that I've touched.
Well, we've been to
now.
Greece, Greece now, yeah.
Exactly. But yes, what else was there?
Well, you had there was the great big town square, which is like a it had a huge steeple on it, and that's the town square next to the square didn't have a steeple on it, next to the town hall.
Yes.
There you go, and it's just a huge open thing. That's where they have the Christmas market, which of course we were. Well, this is early November, so.
Hey, they can start.
That's a good point. They do start mid-November. Yeah, I think this marked the start of us missing Christmas markets narrowly. Because the pictures advertising it looked wonderful.
They looked amazing.
Very, very picturesque. But no, we didn't see that. We actually had it very quiet. I think we were in the sort of middle time between Christmas visitors and after the late season visitors. So
the lull.
Very few people around. You had the Alexander Nevsky Cathedral.
Yes.
Which is a huge Orthodox cathedral, which we did go in.
With very...
Oh, here's Darga.
Hello, Darga.
Hello, come to say hello. You get a meep?
The Alexander Nevsky Cathedral has a very... What was it?
Large.
Not large.
Gaudy. No,
quite the opposite. Like, they stand out.
The cathedral?
Yeah, the cathedral's got several domes.
Yes.
At the top.
Yeah.
Not just the one like most do. It's got a few columns and spires that go up, and it's got black domes on top of those. Yes. Which I really liked. It was quite cool.
Yeah, well, because it's sort of on top of the hill.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Quite imposing.
And it stands out. You can see it.
Yeah.
From all around.
I think that's on top of the hill behind it's
Freedom.
It's Freedom Square, and I think it's the Independence Monument. I've written it down later.
Oh, okay.
We do have it. Oh, here it is. It's Freedom Square. Yes, and there's the big Freedom Monument, I think it is, on the top, which commemorates their War of Independence.
Okay.
Which ended in 1920.
Cool.
We'll sort of come back to that later. And because the cathedral was right next to the Parliament building, which is an old castle.
Yes, used to be a castle.
The palace is next to it and its gardens.
Yes.
Which again you can walk around. But then we found ourselves on top of, that's sort of all on a plateau.
Yeah.
With the more modern side of the city sort of below it. It's an old medieval town. Yeah. They built it high up to get out of the way. And on the recommendation of my parents, because I think it was the year before we left for our trip, my parents did a motorcycle tour of the Baltics.
Okay.
No, it was the year actually, I remember, because my dad still wasn't happy about us doing this trip. And they were trying to walk, I remember them telling us about the state of some of the roads in the Baltics.
Yeah.
Which didn't come into us, we didn't come across rather in Estonia.
No.
But they said go to the market in Estonia.
Oh, yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So we went to the market. There wasn't a lot on while we were there.
No.
But we did manage to get some really cheap stuff which we used to keep warm in the van.
Yeah, so if you do go to the market in Tallinn, it's out the back of the old town.
By the train station.
Yeah. If you go up, I think it's on the top floor, there's a little charity shop.
Yes.
With excellent things in it, and it's got everything and anything that you could want, really.
Yeah.
It was great, and again, not very expensive, just what you need.
Yeah, Estonia was reasonably well priced.
Yeah, a few things were pricey, but there are bargains.
Yeah,
you can find the right ones. You just have to look for them.
I think even in that shop,
Yeah.
there were like, I don't know, collections of socks.
Yeah.
For like €8 or something ridiculous like that. But then we got a huge blanket which we used to cover the windows to keep the heat in the van.
Yeah.
For like €2 or something
Exactly.
like that. Like it's a bit of a gamble.
Yeah, you just have to look a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's all.
So we had all that. We did try to get in. Now I can't remember what they served. There was a food place you tried to get us into, but they were completely full.
Pancakes.
Was it pancakes?
Yeah.
Were they special kind of pancakes?
They're supposed to be like one of the best things in Tallinn. If you go, you have to go there, kind of a thing. And it was, again, reasonably priced, but massive, very filling pancakes.
Yes, but they were full, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We did eventually get there.
Yeah.
But we'll come to that,
But
because some drama comes along with it.
Yes, of course it does.
Of
This
course
is
it
us.
does.
This is Catavan. Full of
Nothing
drama.
So we ended up going to McDonald's instead, which is a shame. But McDonald's was built into like a turreted... Oh no, it was right next to one of the old city gates, wasn't it? So it's a really picturesque McDonald's. But it's a shame, because you have to angle your photos of the gate just right, otherwise you get the golden arches in the background.
Yeah, and just as outside the gates, you've got all the...
There's market stalls.
The lit flower stalls.
Oh yes.
All flower shops, yeah.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
So it makes it look even more beautiful, and all you've got is the McDonald's
logo,
It's like, for God's sake. But yeah.
Now Tallinn was one of my favourite cities to explore. I think that still is my favourite old town.
Yeah.
That we went to. It was just something about it. It just really preserved the aesthetic, apart from the McDonald's at the entrance.
Yeah.
No, it was just a joy to explore.
Okay, even more than Rothenburg.
Rothenburg's not really. I mean, I know that. I don't want to sit here and have this argument. But there's pros and cons, I suppose. I know certainly at that point. There's a point in Rothenburg. Certainly up to this point.
Yeah, I have to say personally, taking every other city into account, I think Tallinn is my favourite.
Yeah.
Yeah, Old Town.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Okay.
Like when you just walk around the corner and you can just see the town hall.
Yeah.
And you walk closer to the town hall and it just opens up into a square with all those buildings around, and you're like, well, damn, this hasn't changed.
I remember next to the town hall was that we stood out there and debated going into that restaurant.
Yes.
For a good long time. Wasn't it like everything's prepared? It's a medieval restaurant, but everything is prepared using medieval methods.
Yes.
And medieval equipment.
It's medieval recipes. Everything is as it would have been in that time, just obviously with all the safety precautions and everything taken into account.
Yeah.
But the people dress up. The cutlery and everything that you eat off of the ambiance is all medieval. But even down to the food, like you won't find ingredients in those foods that they wouldn't have had in medieval times. So
probably no vegan options.
No. Or salt. Or pepper.
No, we really wanted to go in there. We read reviews and we just sort of stumbled upon it.
Yeah.
But that was very expensive.
Yeah. Very, very. As you can imagine, it's one of a kind, really.
Yeah, but that's not just a meal. That's a whole experience.
Exactly.
That's your evening out sort of thing. Maybe next time.
Perhaps.
Hopefully, to save up and go.
A reason to go back to Tallinn, if you ever needed one.
Well, we did eventually have another reason to go back to Tallinn. So we left that night and we headed out, quite a way out of the city, to, and I've just lost my space on the list, just outside of a place called Carter, not sure, sort of down a main road to the Witch's Well.
Yes.
Which we didn't see because we got there well past night time. Sun had gone down for quite a long time. So we parked up just in the grass car park next to the Witch's Well. And we woke up and it was a thin blanket of snow.
Yes, it snowed a little bit.
Yeah, so we let Darga out to explore in the snow because she doesn't get to see that very much.
No.
We went and saw the Witch's Well, and I don't know how much you remember about the Witch's Well, the story behind it. So there's like a hot spring. There's hot springs all over the place.
Yes, no, it's an underground water table.
Oh, okay.
So every now and then when when that starts to overflow, it comes up and out of the Witch's Well. Yes. Giving it that aesthetic because it's a square-topped well.
Yes.
It's got a square covering on it, so when it comes out, it looks amazing from all the photos and everything, and I was so disappointed.
Yeah, but it irregularly goes off. Though,
yes.
Isn't it? Like, there's you can't really set.
No. And when it does go off, people flock from everywhere to come and see it, and I can understand why.
Yeah.
But it has all kinds of lore and stuff behind it to do with the witches. That's where they gathered, and that actually I think it's that there are witches underneath.
Yes, couldn't they hear like the bubbling water and assumed it was witches living down there? It was a shame because it was cool. We got to go there again. We were the only people there.
Yeah.
Because it's midweek, completely off season.
Yeah.
But and it was good we had it in the snow, but because nothing was overflowing, it's just a well.
Yeah.
It's literally just a square bit of wood with a hole in the middle.
Yeah. In
the floor. It's like, okay. So that's that then. You can't hear it bubbling. Am I right in saying, or am I making this up, that the frequency of it erupting, if you will, is actually decreasing? Like it's happening less often as it goes?
I'm not sure about that.
No,
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Might be making that up.
I will say though, if somebody does go and visit the Witch's Well, which you should, of course you should, beware that it is on private property. There is a farmhouse nearby. Yes. They own all of that land, so just be respectful.
It's still open to the public. It
is. There's no gates or anything, or fences or anything up to the Witch's Well. But again, it is still somebody else's land. So
so don't go messing about.
No. Just be respectful.
Although we did have to do a bit of messing about in the car park, didn't we?
We did.
Because we unfortunately got stuck in the snowy mud. So we that just took a long time. That was just a nightmare, really. Just trying to find, there was nothing, we didn't have anything really to get under the wheels. We didn't have a shovel at this point.
No.
To dig our way out. It's all just mud all around us. We did eventually get us out after completely ruining our floor mats.
Yeah.
Kicking up mud all up the back of the van, which we just cleaned. All up ourselves. And essentially we had passed a Viking village.
Yeah.
On the way to this spot. So we were just driving down the dual carriageway.
Yeah.
And there's just a wooden fortress lit up in the night. And we researched, we'll go there tomorrow. But because we got stuck, for the best part of an hour we were stuck.
Yeah.
And now we were filthy, like, right, now we need to go and wash our clothes. And, we need to go and wash our clothes and clean up some stuff at a water point somewhere. So we ended up going back to Tallinn and using the laundrette there, which, it was a manned laundrette, just not far from the city centre.
No.
And we did manage to go back into the old town and get those big pancakes.
Yes, we did.
Nice, yeah.
We did. We did. I've just remembered something. We had trouble finding a water point, though, didn't we?
Did we?
Because we went back towards Jägala waterfalls from the Witch's Well.
Yeah.
So that we could get water, but that was at a petrol station.
Yeah.
We went around the back of it.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to find somewhere like a motorhome area or something like that we could just use for water.
Yeah.
Nothing else. I think there was like one campsite or something around, but they weren't open at that time of year.
I do remember going to get the water, but a lot of petrol stations will let people do that. They'll just have a tap.
Yeah.
For the public, and certainly we were there long enough. If we weren't supposed to use it, someone would have.
Yes. No. I'm not saying that, but I remember that we had to do that, so it might be like I don't remember the extent of it, but I'm not sure how.
I'm struggling to remember how often we topped up on water, to be honest, because I know once we got to certainly France and Spain especially are like wonderful for camper vans because they just have dedicated parking spots all over the place.
Yeah.
I don't recall anything like that in Northern Europe, really.
No.
There were places where you could get water and places where there were public toilets to empty black water.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not sure. It's a difficult thing to remember because we do it so often.
Yeah.
Filling up water, just find a tap somewhere. But so we headed back into Tallinn and got our laundry done, and then we went back to the same spot. Yeah. We did try to look for other spots, but because we wanted to visit this Viking village, that was unfortunately the nearest place that we felt comfortable parking. Luckily, we found out that because when we park in places, we try and be as out of the way as possible.
Yeah.
Not in a hiding sort of way.
More of a keep out of the way sort of way.
But we noticed that right near the entrance of this car park was a bit of gravel. So we thought we'll park there tonight, so there's no mud to get stuck in. And we had a much more pleasant experience the following morning, and then we went to the Viking village.
Yes.
Which was fantastic.
It was amazing.
Again, we had the whole place to ourselves.
Yeah, it was just the folks who lived there and us.
So, how to summarise it really? Like, it's just it's a living Viking village, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like, all the members of staff wear the clobber.
Yeah.
And you can stay there. There were huts, proper houses, kind of like Centre Parks houses, I suppose, where you can stay for the weekend or however long. And there was a fishing village, a fishing lake.
Yes.
Where there are, I think there's just trout in there.
Yes. Yeah. They grow trout.
They grow
their own trout. Yes, that happened.
Yeah, but they do a cool thing. You can sit and catch a trout, and then you can take it to the meat hall. I don't know what you call it. Tavern?
Yeah, tavern.
We'll
call it a tavern, yeah.
The cooking place. And you can catch a trout and take it in there, and they will prepare it and serve it up to you to eat.
Yes.
Which is, I can see arguments for both sides, whether that's morally good or not, but, you know.
Well, you've caught it yourself.
Yeah, but they put it there.
So?
Well, whatever. Anyway, it's a cool thing to do. And there was an outdoor sauna in there.
Yes.
They have battle reenactments. You could, obviously on the season during the summer, they had a longboat you could hire out, take around another little lake that they had.
Yep.
Well, there was a whole farm.
Yeah, they have their own animals
on
there as well. There are bunny rabbits just wandering around.
Wandering around the place.
There are cats everywhere. And so during the on-season, the peak season, you can do things like archery, I think crossbow shooting,
probably axe throwing,
things like that, and it's kind of really cool.
Yeah, it just looks like a really cool place to go, like, as a family or something.
Exactly.
Just to be a Viking for a weekend.
We've been looking for Viking stuff since the beginning of the trip, really.
That's
like Scandinavian and everything.
That's a good point. We found, other than the Viking boat museum in Oslo, and there were other museums that we couldn't go to because of the circumstances. We had a better Viking experience in Estonia. Than we did in any of official Scandinavia.
Yeah.
But no, that was a brilliant place. And then we went into the restaurant.
Yes.
I remember the door they don't have, you have the, they're not hydraulic, but you have like the air pressure door closer things. They didn't have that, if you remember. It was like weighted by sandbags.
Yes.
As you pull the door open and you're pulling up a sandbag on a pulley and it will gently lower down so the door closes behind you.
It's so cool.
And they just had open fires up all over the place.
Yeah.
And we just had a look. Can we have a look around? Yeah, by all means. And there's just room after room.
All log cabin-esque, wasn't it?
Everything's made out of wood. Yeah. All the tables and chairs are being carved. There was a massive flat screen TV.
I don't think that was wooden.
Advertising their events and what they do in the summer. And then we kind of felt bad because we just rolled up. You could walk around the whole place for free.
Yeah.
And we thought, we've got to have a drink. And we thought, well, we'll have something to eat here as well.
It sounded nice.
So
the menu,
great.
The food on the menu sounded really nice, and it was reasonably priced.
Yeah, and I think all the cups were like Viking-y cups. And I remember in the toilet, the sinks were made out of wood. There was a paper towel dispenser, I think, which they'd hidden behind little branches of wood.
Yeah.
So you couldn't see it, but everything, they'd really gone all out on the aesthetic. And it was absolutely fantastic.
Well, there were... Oh, sorry, that was really loud. Ooh. There were animal pelts. I don't know whether or not they're real.
Yes,
they
on
were
the chairs.
On the chairs, on the back of the benches, everything like that. And the chandeliers and everything, they were carved out of wood. And they had bits of armour and stuff lying around. I think there was a full Viking armour piece in the main bit. That was really cool.
It was absolutely fantastic. I'd love to go there for during summer season, this time of year, for a long weekend.
We say that. I follow them on Facebook, and the longboat rides are on again.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so let's get back to that.
How long does it take to get to Greece? From Greece to Estonia with the required quarantine.
With the current conditions,
British passports require when we travel. Anyway. Yes, that was absolutely fantastic, and we had the whole place to ourselves.
Yeah.
There was like a couple of people came in just as we were finishing our drinks.
Yeah.
But that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And Yeah, I definitely want to go back to that place. Absolutely, definitely. But we had to move on. Of course, it was still cold at night. We were still sleeping pretty much fully clothed. So we started heading south a little bit, but we stopped at Kearna Mansion.
Yes.
It's called a mansion in Kearna.
Yes.
And what was all that about then?
So it was kind of said to be like a mystical, spiritual place.
Yes.
Which I know you're not into that kind of stuff, but I wanted to go have a look, see what it was about. And in my head, even now, this is probably a reference that not a lot of people are going to get, but there's like a secret, maybe a DLC or something, for Fable 3.
Okay.
And it's for this mansion where you walk around, and I think there's a ghost in it or something like that. So there's a few missions to do with that.
Yes.
That's what that mansion reminds me of.
Oh, okay.
Even now. So in reality, we pulled up.
Yes.
There's a little central fountain thing in front of this mansion, and the mansion was a functioning family home at one point.
Yeah.
Since then, it's been taken over by this charity. These volunteers from the community.
Yeah, the locals look after, don't they? Yeah.
Completely run by volunteers, and it's basically for people's spiritual healing, but also healing of physical ailments through nature.
Yeah. Because there were maps, weren't there, of the garden?
Yes. So the gardens have been divided up into sections, and the benches themselves are numbered, and you can use the map to guide you to a specific bench. For example, if you have arthritis, you go to bench 44 or something, and you go and sit there and you relax, you meditate.
Yes.
You're looking at me very cynically.
I'm just looking at you.
So it's that kind of vibe to it. It's quite a peaceful place to go. Again, because it's run by volunteers, it's not in the most amazing of conditions.
No.
But there's only so much that a few people from a community can do. But I think it's quite a good, for those people who believe in that kind of thing, it's quite a good thing to have.
Yeah, and it was completely free. Like, you can even just walk into that mansion.
Oh, yes.
You couldn't explore the mansion
No.
fully, mainly part of the ground floor.
Yeah.
Which felt a bit weird to me. Like, I knew we were allowed in there, but because there's no one to greet you, like there was just a gardener out the back, and you're just in this big empty house, it's kind of like, are we allowed in here? Like, I mean, there are toilets. I do kind of need the toilet.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and then we were still, because our sort of next city to go and visit was Tartu.
Yes.
It's the second biggest city in Estonia. So on our way, making our way down there. We then spent the night in the woods next to Lake. Again, going to pronounce this wrong because there's an umlaut on here somewhere. Jomoisa.
Okay.
Jomoisa. Not sure. And that was the one where we found there was like a big log cabin that was full of bits of wood, and there were the outdoor barbecue spaces.
Oh yes.
But unfortunately, the time of year, all the wood was just that little bit too damp.
Yes.
And we could not
get a fire going.
Yeah, really tried to get a fire going.
Yeah.
We couldn't.
That was something. Estonia has a lot of those.
Yes.
It doesn't have motorhome areas, but it does have a lot of those.
Yeah.
Which is literally just in the middle of the woods. You can park up, and they've got barbecue pits.
Yeah.
And they've got benches out, and you've got huts which have wood and kindling in them for you to use. And there's a toilet.
Yeah,
a compost toilet available as well. Which is kind of cool. We haven't really seen that anywhere else.
No, it's a nice alternative, like, it's to get people going out to the wilderness and exploring. And you can just pull up. I think someone else did come at one point.
Yes.
As I seem to recall. But yeah, you park up in the trees, wake up the next day, there's a nice lake just the other side of the trees. Yeah, it's just a nice alternative to sleeping in car parks.
Yeah,
which
definitely.
We did the next night, but we'll come to that. So this next day we went to Tartu.
We did.
Again, the second city. Unfortunately, it was raining.
Yes, it was.
It was quite a miserable. It wasn't heavy rain, where it's. I don't know why heavy rain always seems a bit more appealing to me, because it's almost comically bad.
Raining.
Yeah, this is sort of like just miserably like I'm getting
spitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did go for a bit of a walk. Went up to Kissing Hill.
We did.
Which is incredibly steep.
Well, that's why you've earned that kiss at the top.
Well, maybe. There were just lots of sculptures around about noteworthy people from history, which I honestly can't remember. I know one guy was like a poet or something, and he died when he was 17 or something like that.
21, I believe.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, he walked a long way as well. I can't remember what it was, and that's when he wrote his poetry as he was walking.
But that's right outside the cathedral, which is also a university building. So I think it's it's the cathedral. I think part of it's intact, and then the back end of it is a bit dilapidated, but they built a university building onto it. Yes. As I recall.
Yes, I think so.
And also right next to it, because this is all on a little park with the old grounds of the cathedral, I suppose. And then just the other side of the road from it was a huge crater, wasn't there? And I think that's when we remembered that Estonia is noteworthy. I tried looking this up since, and I couldn't find any sort of listing or anything like that. But Estonia is one of the in the table of most impact craters for meteorites. Estonia is up there. Yeah. Mainly because it's got so many islands. It's just got a bit of surface area.
It's got so much land.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But we walked all the way around this huge crater trying to see if there was anything to denote it as a crater.
As something. There was just
no
information
about it. It was just
a
big grassy... It just looked like a big crater. There was no other way of describing it. I thought this must be... Maybe they're just so used to it.
Oh, yeah, it's blasé about it. Yeah. It's like, this happened?
It's just another meteorite thing. So, why do people get excited about it? We don't know. So, yeah, unfortunately, it was a very short visit to Tartu because of the miserable weather. But because we had something else to go and look at that day.
Yes, we did. Well. A few things that I looked at to do in Estonia were nature-based.
Yes, and specifically trees.
Specifically trees. Two of those things were the tallest pine and spruce trees in the world.
Yes.
And they were quite close to each other.
Yep. So we had the name of the forest.
Yes.
Which was on our route.
Yes.
Where we were going, but there were no sign when we got there. There were no signs, even pointing out that the tallest pine tree in the world was even there.
No.
And
there was absolutely nothing. There was
no.
There was just a car park for the woods.
Yeah. Well, several car parks for the woods. Several car parks where hiking trails start.
Yes.
And we both went on our phones to research this, and there were loads of articles about this tree, but not one of them told you where it was.
No.
I'm like, well, where is this thing? And all the aerial photos are just of a forest. It's like, okay, it's a big flat forest. It does bring me on to a point, which we'll come back to later. One thing I'm really grateful about in Estonia is even in the middle of the woods, you get internet signal.
Yes. Yeah.
Estonia is excellent for internet. We'll come back to that later, but Estonia is... Brilliant. You will always get internet signal. Yeah. Even in the middle of the woods, you will get your internet signal. So unfortunately, and the weather was still a bit miserable. Yeah. We had literally a whole forest, and you're just sort of looking around at trees. Is that it? Well, no, that one's bigger.
If the weather hadn't been so miserable and it wasn't so cold, like say, for example, if we went now, it wouldn't be such a big ask to park the van up.
Yeah.
Take Dargo with us and go and explore.
Yeah.
Because maybe somewhere down those trails there's something that says...
Maybe. Yeah. There were so many car parks and so many trails.
Yeah. Which one do you choose?
I'd say it's like a needle in a haystack, but it's like trying to find a tree in a forest.
Yes.
So that was a bit of a shame. So then we moved on for the day because we had another tree-based visit.
We did.
For the following day. So we went to Voru. Again, there's an umlaut on one of those letters. I've typed all this up on my UK keyboard, so I don't know how to get umlauts. I've only just learned how to get the euro sign on this thing. Went to Voru for a sleep. Unfortunately, this was a Saturday night.
Yes.
And we were parked on a car park. Voru is on a huge lake.
Yeah.
Which has its own little beach, which I'm sure is wonderful in the summer. It had its own little beachfront with a few hotels, which we were just close enough to get the Wi-Fi from.
Yes.
Which is nice. But it's a big tarmac car park.
Yeah.
Where we were the only vehicle there.
Yeah.
So a load of boy racing youth turned up, blasting music. I'm sure they were doing power slides and donuts and stuff. You just hear it all night and... We weren't...
Not bad for the hotel people, though. Like, imagine staying in that hotel.
Well, yeah, but then I wonder whether they come out and have a go at them.
Oh, maybe.
During the summer.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I mean, no one bothered us. No one was throwing anything at the van or
No.
knocking. They just sort of ignored us. But yeah, that was a shame. So then we got up to visit our next tree, which we had a Google Map location for. We saw it on a map, and we went there. We knew it was there. That's the, again, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, the Tame Lowry,
I think.
oak, which, you got some facts for that?
Yes.
I'll go. Okay.
Go.
It's the thickest and oldest tree in Estonia.
Yes.
Apparently being planted in the early 1300s. I didn't have an exact date, but it's gone.
I think it's 1326.
As their best guess.
Yes.
Because it's largely it's being hollowed out and they filled it with concrete.
Yeah.
So it doesn't fall down. So it's still alive.
Yeah.
Because you don't need the middle bit of the tree.
You don't need much for it to be alive. No, these trees are hardy, especially oaks.
But it's difficult to tell whether an oak tree is alive or not when it's November.
Yeah.
So it could be
winter.
dead. I don't know. And apparently it was named after... See, I double checked this today.
Yeah.
It's named after a nearby farm.
No,
which is named after a fire spirit which lives in the trees. It's named...
So named after the fire spirit. No, it's named after the fire spirit.
It's named after the fire spirit. So they believed a fire spirit lived in the tree and basically caused bad luck.
Yes.
Then the farm caught fire.
Yes.
And the school caught fire.
Yes.
So it must be a spirit of the tree.
Yes.
Nothing on the information board suggested they went to any extreme lengths to try and appease the fire spirit.
I thought they did.
Well, I mean extreme measures.
Oh, okay.
No sacrifices or anything.
No blood sacrifices of children.
Yeah, but didn't they form rings around it and just sort of sing to it or something?
Yeah, they did try and appease the fire god a little bit. Hey, it seems to have worked.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, it was a rather damp November, so there was no fires when we were there. Maybe it worked. And unfortunately, that was it for our little Estonian visit.
It was.
Unfortunately, the weather, and again, we were still heading south because our toes were getting very cold at night.
Although a bit better after Tallinn because of all the
it was a bit better, yeah.
Stuff that we bought.
Yes, to insulate the van a little bit better. So the disadvantage of having a van with loads of windows is there's lots of places for air to escape, for warm air to escape rather. So we headed down towards Latvia. We crossed at a town called Valka, which was an interesting one because the town was on both sides of the border. And when you drive through, there's literally a road which is where all the border, I don't know if you remember, that's where all the old border control buildings were. Yeah. And you can see them all, they're all disused. And now there's just houses all along. But you think there's literally a road with houses on it.
Yeah. Not even a particularly wide road.
No,
it's just a normal
just a
street. Road
with houses either side of it. And you think, wow, I wonder what that was like when there was a hard border there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
Food for thought. So then we carried on into Cesis in Latvia. We also did our shopping in Latvia.
We did.
Because it was marginally cheaper in Latvia than Estonia. But of course that's all for next week.
No, it is.
Yes. So that was Estonia. Very much enjoyed time in Estonia, as we said at the start, one of these things, didn't know anything about it when we went in. Turned out to be an incredibly interesting.
Yeah, definitely one of my favourite places.
Yeah, I will reiterate, it really did feel like a Scandinavian country. Apparently there was a whole thing with their flag. People were trying to get them to make a more Scandinavian-esque flag.
Well, not just the Viking village, but Estonians, they have quite a strong Viking connection.
Yes.
Which helps with the Scandinavian side of things.
Yeah. So anyway, I've done something which, after doing this one, I'm hoping to do for every episode from now on.
That'd be cool.
We've got some interesting bits of trivia. And Estonia is, again, quite an interesting country. And it's like, I don't know why more people, they're not a country to shout or brag about things.
No, they're not.
They're really not. No. They just sort of get on and... it's amazing some of the things we found out. So here we go. Here's some interesting facts. Another tree thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's an oak tree called Sarima, which is in the middle of a football field in Orisari. There's a football pitch and there's a tree
just in the middle.
In the middle. I mean, we talked about going there, but I think it was a little bit out of our way.
It's on one of the islands.
Oh, it's on one of the islands, so it really is a little bit out of our way. But that actually won the European Tree of the Year award in 2015. It's in the middle of a football field, and the legend says that 2 of Stalin's tractors tried to pull it out of the ground, but the cables kept breaking, and it still has the marks from the cables. So it doesn't sound so much of a legend as something that actually happened. The country also has the largest number of startups per capita in Europe.
Yes.
Yes. Which is because Finland had the highest number of metal bands per capita in the world. And Estonia has the highest number of startups.
Startups, okay.
It's also the birthplace. I kind of want to look into this more. Estonia is the birthplace of the first Christmas tree.
Yeah, because I was surprised by that. Because you'd expect that to be Germany. I don't know why, but you'd expect it to be Germany.
I kind of want to go back to the Christmas museum in Gothenburg and try and find out where it came from. We mentioned the flag. I say we learned while in Estonia they discussed after they got their independence from the. Well, no, because of course their independence war was before the Soviet Union came about. So this would have been their independence from the Soviet Union.
Yes.
Their second independence. Apparently there were discussions about with their new flag, maybe they'd want a Scandinavian flag, which has got a cross.
A cross,
on it.
yeah.
But they were quite certain on sticking with an ex-Soviet, I suppose is the word, flag, with the 3 coloured horizontal lines.
Yeah.
And I've got it written here, so it's blue, black and white.
Yeah.
And the blue is supposed to represent the blue Norse sky, and faith and loyalty and other such lovely things. Black is kind of it's the dark past that they've had.
Yeah. And they want to remember that.
Yes, that's one thing with Estonia. They're very much. You look at the tourist information boards around Estonia. Apparently, a lot of people do speak Russian, but they don't like the Russians.
No.
And the only information boards because most of the information boards around Europe, you'll have English because everybody speaks English. German's in there a lot. Obviously, the language of the country that you're in, and then sometimes Spanish. There's a couple of other common ones, but not all of them have Russian translations in Estonia, apart from the ones where the Russians were responsible for some sort of massacre or damage done to the town. So there's quite a history, a remembered history with the Russians there, as evidenced by the flag. And then the bottom line is white, which refers to striving towards enlightenment and virtue. So yeah, that's the flag. It was ranked 3rd country in the world for press freedom economy in 2012. I've completely lost my place. Oh no, here we go. Yeah, the country is also the first country in the world to have implemented a flat tax system, which I assume means everybody pays the same
amount,
percentage,
I guess,
which is
quite cool.
Yeah. Estonia is one of the least religious countries in the world.
Yeah, we learnt about this whilst we were there, didn't we?
Yes, at the witches' well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was basically that traditionally, like the Vikings and things like that, Estonia's had gods based on nature.
Yes, they're more in tune with nature.
They are, yeah. But then Christianity and other mainstream religions came along.
Yeah.
But Estonians didn't really take to them very much.
Yes, plenty of resistance.
And even now, people are far more in tune with nature in Estonia than they are with traditional religious beliefs. Which you can see, you get that feeling as you're around Estonia, which is amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of green. Well, we'll come on to that. I don't know why that's not the next point, but it is the next point. Sorry, but I've missed the point of this point. I'm going to get my head together in a moment, sorry.
Okay.
Apparently only 16% of its population was found to be adherents of some form of religion. Or some sort of belief, rather, according to a 2005 poll. So 16% claims to be religious. It's also one of the cleanest places on Earth to breathe, which may have something to do with the fact that almost 50% of its territory is covered with forest, and 22% is under agriculture. It is the third country in the world after Finland and Canada to have the maximum area covered under natural Myers, I think it's pronounced.
I think Myers, yes.
Myers, yes. Which I think that's like bogland, isn't it?
I don't know.
You know that?
I'm not so
I don't
sure.
know. And out in these woods, Estonia also belongs to the group of countries with the largest density of large predators in Europe. And if you're lucky, we were not lucky.
No.
You can see wolves, lynxes, and brown bears.
That would have been your nightmare, wouldn't it?
That would have been
brown bears.
Brown bears.
Brown bears.
I would not want to be in the van as the bear to rock up. Because Dargo would just start hissing at it and antagonising it.
Antagonising a bear.
Something you told me while we were there, Skype was invented.
Yes.
In Estonia.
Which I just think is so cool.
Yeah.
Like, Skype is so integral now in society.
Yeah. Well, there's a point later off on this list I didn't include, because we'll bring it up here, and we mentioned it earlier, like, Estonia is a very technologically progressive country, so you get the internet everywhere. They invented Skype, so they're going to make it as usable as possible.
Yeah.
Skype comes from Estonia. That's what I mean. How does nobody
know this?
Like, before we went there, I wouldn't have been able to point it on a map.
Everybody does know this, and we're the only ones.
But not only did they create chess. No,
chess?
Sorry. Well, I'm really reading ahead. Not only did they create Skype, spoilers, the country also produced a chess grandmaster called Paul Keres, I'm going to assume it's pronounced. Upon his death in 1975, an estimated 100,000 people attended his funeral.
That's mad.
Which is insane. Public transport in Tallinn is free for the residents.
Yes.
And so that's just working wonders because they're getting more people coming to live in the city.
Yeah.
So they get money from their taxes, council tax, things like that. But it's also easing congestion on the roads.
Yeah.
Which, of course, helps with pollution.
Yeah.
So that's working well for everybody. It is a law... No, I'm looking at the completely wrong thing. Sorry. Wow, this is really bad of me. I do apologise for this. I completely lost my place. The second biggest city in the country is Tartu, which is also known as the intellectual capital of Estonia. Which explains... say there was the poet guy who walked a hell of a long way. I really wish I could remember some of these facts. This whole section is falling apart. I am very sorry.
It's your first time, you're allowed.
This one, I like this one. Estonians, as in the people, are very beautiful. Right? Which is backed up. Now, I want to see the working of this. I want to see the evidence for this. But apparently, Estonia has the highest number of supermodels per capita in the world.
Intriguing.
Which is something. It's also the...
Is that why you want to go back to the country?
Maybe. It is also the least populous state of the European Union. Because there's only just over 1 million people live there.
Yeah.
And it's huge. So that's why they don't have motorways.
That's why the air is so clean.
We did get stuck in traffic coming out of the capital, but it's the capital.
Yeah.
But even the capital didn't feel like
it was that
a capital
big,
city, you know. In fact, the population of Estonia is declining. It has a birth rate of 10.51 births per 1,000 population.
Wow.
So the population is decreasing.
Yes.
That's not crazy.
Good.
I just wonder whether they're all leaving.
Who's going to make Skype now?
I know, who's going to maintain those servers? Back on the tech front of things, it is the first country in the world to have used the internet for political voting. The Estonian parliamentary elections were conducted online in 2007 for the first time in the world.
Yes.
It also has a literacy rate of 99.8%. So it only means 0.2% of Estonians cannot read.
Yeah.
Which, weirdly, is only the second highest in the world on that point. I want to know whether... 99.9%? Or was there some little micro-state somewhere where 100% of the population can read, you know?
Maybe.
Folk song lovers, which isn't quite country music, I apologise, but
It's close though.
Estonia has the highest collection of written folk songs in the world. They have 133,000 folk songs.
Is that updated every time a new folk song comes out?
Oh God, can you imagine? It's out of date again. Oh, how long is this album? Interestingly, Estonia does not accept dual citizenship.
Yeah, that intrigued me. I wonder why.
I kind of want to read up on that. So it means
because they have a thing called e-residency.
Yes.
So you don't actually have to live in the country, but you can be a tax resident of it.
Yeah.
Which is intriguing.
Yes.
And apparently it's quite easy to get the e-residency, but they don't accept dual citizenship. I wonder if that's the payoff.
Maybe.
Who knows?
So you can sort of live
somewhere else.
Yeah.
But
well, you can sort of live in Estonia as well.
Yeah.
Just not get an Estonian passport.
Yeah.
Which seems odd when their population is declining.
Exactly.
But again, I think that just sort of
maybe
goes
that's
to them.
also why it's declining. Maybe people are moving abroad getting citizenship, but they're not getting dual citizenship.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe it's, you know, again, back to that thing, they're just not that big or showy about themselves.
Oh,
it's
maybe.
Like, oh, well,
yeah.
no, we just want Estonia for the Estonians. Estonia has one of the highest rates of mobile phone ownership per capita. Obviously, as we said, they invented Skype, and you can get internet everywhere. Apparently, with a mobile phone, you can pretty much do any service you want. You can do over the internet on your phone. Cool. They've just completely geared it towards, again, technologically forward thinking, which is good. And the capital city, Tallinn, has been voted the best protected and intact medieval city in Europe.
That's quite cool.
More so than Tallinn. That is Tallinn. More so than Rothenburg.
That's quite claimed.
Yeah. And there you go. Those are the interesting facts. I'm sorry that was awful at reading through. I need to get a better way of reading.
You'll practice and get better.
Yes. If only there was some way of editing this. No, it's not. It's too late in the day. So I think that's it for Estonia.
I loved Estonia.
Estonia was fantastic. I really do want to go back there.
Let's go in the summer this time so we can see some bears.
Well, we did kind of have to. How much I want to go and see apex predators, but
from afar.
Yeah, behind steel and glass. Well, no, I know my parents did a motorcycle tour. I think it was a pre-arranged thing.
Yeah.
Of the Baltics, and we did kind of have to rush. We did kind of rush through the Baltics.
Yeah.
Estonia less so of the three. But yeah, I'm quite happy to go back, and especially Estonia.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, that is it for Estonia. Thank you very much for listening, especially for my rambling. If you made it this far, please do leave a rating or review on whichever platform you listen to these on. Apparently, it just helps us extend our reach. If you have been listening on a podcast service, you may be interested to know that every episode is also available along with weekly video diaries of our ongoing journey on our YouTube channel. Just search for Catavan or Catavan UK, because we still don't have enough subscribers yet for a personalised URL, but we're getting there. Likewise, if you are already listening to this on YouTube, you can also find audio versions of this podcast on your service of choice. Just search for CatavanCast. Podcasts are released every Wednesday and video diaries go up every Sunday. Please do get in touch with us about any mistakes we've made, anything we've missed, any questions about the topics covered, anything you think is really worth noting. You can leave us a comment on YouTube, or you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, where we are at CatavanUK. You can also email us directly at catavanuk@gmail.com.
Yes.
We have been updating the website.
We have.
The website is now not fully updated.
No, it's getting there. We're working on it.
There is content there for the first time in a long time. Come along there, sign up for notifications, see what we're doing.
Yeah.
As the more content is being added onto that, there's going to be more somewhere to go for more in-depth. There's daily diaries going up.
Yeah.
There's articles being written about certain places. You're throwing some recipes up there.
Yeah.
And there's also a link to this podcast as well, if you want to listen to it on there. There's also a link to our Redbubble shop.
Yes, that's slowly gaining traction as well, which is nice.
Yeah.
I am trying to add new designs every single day and improving the designs that are already on there. I'm quite excited. Some of them, personally, I think look quite good.
I think so, yes.
So, yes, go on there, have a look, see what there is.
Yes, Christmas is coming. Why not stock up on presents?
Exactly.
Who knows, with the world the way it is, who knows how long it'll take to be delivered.
Those adverts that kept popping up.
Oh.
Life is uncertain.
Yes, buy a t-shirt.
Oh, God.
That's some malicious marketing.
It was horrible.
strategy.
It was like, no, this is not okay.
You don't know when your life will end, so buy this t-shirt. Anyway.
That's awful.
That's it for this week. We'll be back next week. We'll be talking about our experiences in Latvia.
Yes. Another rather wonderful country.
Yeah, so check back next week for all the details on that.
The deets.
I've been Ben.
I've been Frey. And Dargo's been fairly active this episode.
She has been walking around.
We've been trying to stop her from making too much noise.
Yeah. Unless she meeps. If she meeps, that's fine, because that's proof
that's
she's
allowed.
Yes. But she is now sat closer to us. I think she wants attention.
Yes, I think so.
So that's everything.
Yes.
Thank you very much for listening.
Indeed.
And we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.